April 2023. I woke up one morning and couldn't get out of bed, not sick, not hungover. My body just said, "That's it, buddy. You're on your own from here." By that point, every single day was Groundhog Day. Morning, coffee, laptop, Slack, tasks. Evening, same tasks. Just more tired. The work that used to fire me up a year earlier, dead. Motivation, zero. I started ghosting my friends. Wouldn't call, wouldn't text, canceled plans, just shut down. And here's the thing, I was making good money, nothing to complain about. From the outside, I was that guy who had it all figured out. Inside, empty and pissed at myself. I had no idea what was happening to me. So I just hated myself harder for not being able to get my act together. This was the golden age of Instagram, remember? Every other influencer was flexing peak productivity and that classic successful success energy. Just closed a deal, hit the gym, launched a startup, recorded a podcast, and so on down the list. Sleeping was lame, resting was for losers. Being on 100% 24/7 was the only way not to be a loser. And it wasn't just Instagram pushing this, it was entire countries, corporate culture, the whole hustle scene. I bought in hard. The 18 months before that morning, I worked 10 to 12 hours a day, 6 days a week. I was convinced I was crushing it, and anyone who rested was soft. You know what? I was doing the exact opposite of what people who actually get results do. I figured this out about a month after that morning when I finished the book Peak Performance. It's by Brad Stolberg, a former McKinsey consultant, and Steve Magnus, who coaches Olympic runners. Both of them burned out at 25. Then they put all the science of human performance into one book. Today, I'm sharing the three biggest takeaways from this book. They flipped how I see productivity by 180 degrees and genuinely changed the way I work. And the last one, it honestly rewires how you see yourself. Stick around for it. You won't regret it. Let's go. Stress plus rest equals growth. That's it. The whole book in 3 words: Olympians, Nobel laureates. Even my favorite writer, Stephen King, they all live by this formula. The rest of us regular folks live by a different one. Stress plus more stress equals look at me, I'm a beast. Take a wild guess how that ends. I'll let you in on a little secret. Total burnout, complete shutdown, and a year spent rebuilding a mental system you ran into the ground. The book has this great image. Picture two runners. The marathoner grinds at the same pace for hours until he collapses. The sprinter goes 100%, rests, then goes again. Honestly, whose muscles grow faster? Whose heart is stronger long term? The sprinter's, and not because he's biologically tougher, because he actually rests, and that's when his body rebuilds itself. But all of us want to be marathoners at work, in the gym, in business. 6 months without a day off, I'm a machine. Buddy, no, you're not a machine. You're slowly killing yourself at one steady pace. And here's where the authors drop something that made me sit up. They call it the gray zone. You know where 90% of office workers actually live? Not in stress mode and not in rest mode. They're stuck in the swamp in between. For me, that swamp looked like this. When I was working, I couldn't actually focus. Doc open, chat open, Instagram open. 3 minutes of writing, 10 minutes of scrolling, 8 hours at the desk, maybe 3 hours of real focus. The rest, tab switching and coffee. And when I tried to rest, I'd beat myself up for resting. Lying on the couch with the PlayStation, this voice inside, "What are you doing, idiot? You've got a deadline." Watching a show, but my head was still chewing on tasks. Endless scrolling, endless Netflix, endless gaming, and I called all of that rest. It wasn't rest. It was running away from reality. Vicious circle. You don't actually rest, so you can't actually work. So you feel guilty, so you fail at resting again. I lived in that loop for 2 years, and I thought I was a hard worker. The fix in this book is so dumb simple, it's almost insulting. Want to perform at your peak? Make both modes loud and clear. When you work, work. 60 to 90 minutes of pure focus. Grab your phone, set a timer, sound on. And until that timer goes off, no matter what comes up, no matter how much your brain is begging, you don't leave the task. And here's where it gets interesting. The second you sit down to work, your brain's going to fight you. I'm dead serious. Out of nowhere, you'll think, I should mop the floors. It's been a while. Then, wait, what's Steve from high school up to? Let me check his profile. Then a peek in the fridge. Then suddenly it's 1 a.m. and you're watching a YouTube compilation of top 10 Karen meltdowns at Walmart. Be honest, has this happened to you? When you need to do something genuinely important and you suddenly switch to literally anything else? Drop a "been there" in the comments if you recognize yourself. Timer goes off, you stand up. And here's part 2 of the formula. 20 minutes of doing absolutely nothing. And listen, nothing doesn't mean Instagram, doesn't mean YouTube. It means a walk, cooking something, eating it, staring out the window like a retired grandpa. Body moving, brain off the task list. That's the whole recipe. One more life hack that saved me. Download an app that throttles social media. One Sec, Opal, Screen Zen. Take your pick. Here's how they work. You tap the Instagram icon, the app pops up. Hey, why are you opening this right now? Just that one question. 9 times out of 10, you realize you don't actually need to be there and you close it. It turns on awareness automatically. My screen time dropped from 6 hours a day to 90 minutes in 2 weeks. Insight number two, stupid simple. Works like a Swiss watch. Heard of REM sleep? It's the phase where your brain locks in everything you learned, figured out, and processed during the day. Every bit of work you did today literally gets burned onto the hard drive during REM. And listen carefully, most of your REM happens after the seventh hour of sleep, not the first, the seventh. So if you're sleeping 6 hours a night and bragging about it, you're literally cutting off the most valuable part. It's like leaving the gym 1 minute before your muscles were about to start growing. 6 hours of sleep isn't I'm a machine. It's I'm erasing half of what I learned today every single day. I used to sleep 5 or 6 hours and called myself a Terminator. Now I sleep 8, sometimes 9. And honestly, it's a gift. My head moves twice as fast. Ideas show up on their own. Tasks that used to eat a whole day get done in a couple of hours. And now, folks, the real magic of this book. At the University of Cape Town, there's a professor named Tim Noakes. 30 years ago, he dropped a theory that the scientific world initially mocked, then accepted 10 years later. It's called the central governor theory. The idea is simple and a little terrifying. When you're training or working and you feel, that's it, I can't anymore, that's not your body giving up. That's your brain lying to you. According to Noakes, fatigue isn't a body signal. It's an emotion your brain manufactures on purpose to make you stop before you actually hurt yourself. Noakes proved it with dozens of experiments. They take cyclists at their absolute limit. They physically can't pedal any faster. Then they tweak the speedometer to show a slower number than reality. And suddenly the cyclists start pedaling faster, even though a second ago, faster was impossible. Their actual ceiling moves just because they thought they were going slower than they really were. Your brain just lies to you, protecting you like an overprotective mom. Now think about what this means for you personally. Every time you catch yourself thinking, that's it, I'm done, that's an automatic defense system kicking in at any sign of strain. When you need to push through at work, when you need to give it everything in the gym, when you're trying to finish a book. The truth is, you can do all of that better than you'd ever guess. The whole time, your brain has been drawing you a wall. And that wall, it's drawn in pencil. All right, folks, let's recap honestly. What did we get today? Number one, stress plus rest equals growth. The gray zone isn't work and isn't rest. It's slow self-destruction. Make both modes loud. 90 minutes of focused work on a timer, 20 minutes of real rest with no screen. Number two, anything under 7 hours of sleep is sleep wasted. If you want today to actually count for something, sleep at least 7, ideally 8. Number three, your brain is lying to you about your limits. Fatigue is just a defensive line your brain draws, and you can step right over it. The real ceiling of what you're capable of is way further than you think. Tonight, close the laptop 1 hour earlier. Tomorrow, set a 90-minute timer and do one task without distractions. And go to bed at a normal hour, not at 12:30 a.m. doom scrolling reels. There's a ton more in peak performance I didn't get to. Morning rituals of high performers, night owls versus early birds, how Mark Zuckerberg saved himself a mountain of mental energy with identical t-shirts. If you like this format, drop a comment and I'll do a follow-up video. Me, I'm clocking out, going into rest mode. Buy the formula.